Good morning, YouTube. I'm MeZMerEyeeZ, Twitch streamer and professional Need for Speed driver. Today, I am going to share one of my most coveted builds, my F40. I say coveted because I think it's wicked. I think I fine-tuned it down to the best of my ability, and I get amazing times with it. We're going to go over, obviously, all your performance, your engine, your chassis, drivetrain, and auxiliary. And we're going to do your live tunes, your ride height. We're going to boil it all the way down to tire brand, tire tread pattern, and wheel size. I have found that all those make a big difference. Alright, the first thing you need to have for this engine is the 4.4 liter V8. The 4.4 liter V8. Some of you guys think the hybrid is a better engine, but from experience I will tell you that the hybrid is very weak out of turns. So you need the 4.4 liter V8. Alright, obviously in the first floor categories of the engine, you're going to need your Ultimate Plus parts. Ultimate Plus crankshaft, Ultimate Plus ECU, Ultimate Plus cooling, Ultimate Plus exhaust. From that point on, let's go to your turbo. Typically you want the dual turbocharger, the Ultimate 5x3 tanks, and let's move to chassis. So for the chassis you want track suspension, the Super Track Suspension purple. I used the purple brakes, the Super, for the F40. You want Elite Rally tires. You're going to think to yourself, what? Why? Why would you use rally tires? Well, this car has a tendency to oversteer a little bit when you brake drift. She wants to go to 190. She wants to go to a 90-degree angle, and you tend to fishtail a little bit. So, downforce plays a role on that, and to get rid of the leftover oversteer, if you will. When you brake drift, the rally tires will even that out for you. There's absolutely no change in stats whatsoever. Look at the stats here. Alright, here's the track tire. Okay, still on the lower left-hand corner. Yeah. And the race tires are too slidey, but as you see here on the scale, where it says race, off-road, road, and drift, there's no change in there. For racing, you want everything as far to the lower left corner as possible on most vehicles. Some vehicles there's a little bit of an exception to that. So you want to go ahead and use rally tires. Moving on to drivetrain. You have the Elite Plus clutch, and I use a 6-speed exclusively. Whether you're a manual driver or an automatic driver, I found the 6-speed to be the best and most efficient. Now here's one that a lot of people question, but you know, with this normal setup, the car is a little stiff as it is. Whether you use track tires, you know, in the Super Track differential, you will find that the car is just a little too stiff. If you throw in the Pro Track differential, it loosens it up just a hair, and once again doesn't affect your stats in a negative way whatsoever. Everything's still the same. Whether I use Super Track differential or I use track differential. At the Pro Series, I use the Pro Series. For me, auxiliary, I use the Elite nitrous refills, and I switch between nitrous oncoming and nitrous duration. For most of my races, I use nitrous duration. For a lot of the tracks that you're on, where you're going to be on the oncoming lane most of the time, most of the race, use oncoming. Your NOS points do change a little bit with oncoming, especially if you're used to using any of these other gold bottles over here. Just a little bit of an adjustment. Alright, with that taken care of, we are going to go to ride height. Ride height plays a big role. I tend not to run any side skirts. I don't run diffusers, and only on certain cars will I run a splitter. Anything that gets the car lower to the ground, increases your chances that you are going to ground out on a sidewalk or you're going to clip. Clipping is when you hit an invisible bump and it causes your car to flip, or it'll cause an unrecoverable amount of bounces in your car and you can't do anything about it. So my general rule of thumb for my performance cars, my competitive cars that I compete with, I don't use anything low at all. I go everything the highest as possible. Side skirts, same thing with the bumpers. I don't run a diffuser, and occasionally I'll run a splitter. Alright, stance, ride height. Also, like I said, that plays an effect. So I typically run my ride height on the F40. It is best at +2. Alright, so here's 0. We're going to go +2. +2 is optimal for the car. It has a better center of gravity. It handles its turns a lot smoother, and it does not clip. It will rarely. Any of the cars in this game will clip on occasion, but with this ride height and the ground effects explanation I gave you, will reduce that completely. Camber, it has no effect in this game. Absolutely none. It's strictly cosmetic. I just keep everything at less. Alright, ride height +2. Alright, now we're going to move down to the body. Okay. Basically, if you have your own custom rims, whatever they might be, I have found, and this goes for the real world racing too, I have found that if you go with the smallest rim size, what that'll do for you is it'll give you more rubber height. What does more rubber height do? Well, more rubber height gives more flexibility in the tire, therefore more grip. Alright, I use that for fronts and rears on all of my cars. Okay, tread pattern. Tread pattern, okay. On this F40, typically I use, normally on all my cars I'll use a second set of Toyos, but for the F40 for some reason they don't have Toyos. So I have a Speed Hunter version. Okay, Speed Hunters. And what you want to do, typically, you can either run this stretch tire in the front with the V pattern. It's mostly a bald tire. Okay, it's mostly a bald tire except for a V formation. It's a stretch tire. You can use that one, or on this car only, you want to use the one that has the same bald V pattern, but with the square tread near the sidewall, which is this one right here. It's kind of hard to see in this picture, but you can see the square tread pattern and then the V formation in the center of the tire. Now the back tires, I do have the exact same tire on it, the Speed Hunter version. Just remember, stretch tire, V formation. Stretch tire, bald, V formation. That's what you want to use typically for your fronts, and you want to do the same thing on the backs, except you want to have the square tread pattern on the sidewall. Alright, live tune. Live tune is extremely important. Live tune consists of your steering sensitivity and your downforce, as well as your drift style, whether it be gas to drift or brake to drift. So let's go ahead and spawn outside the garage and let's go over the live tune for this car real quick. Alright, here we are, we made it. Our live tune. Our live tune for the F40 is as follows. For me, I like steering sensitivity in this car very low, or -5. So center is 0. We go 5 clicks, so -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Downforce. I have that at a +2. Downforce. So if you're at center, you're going to do 2 clicks over to the right. Alright, traction control off. Drift style for me, I personally prefer brake. I am a manual driver, and I prefer, when I drive manual, to use brake drift style. When I was running automatic, I use gas to drift, but overall, overall, for me, is my preference. I prefer brake to drift. Alright, so that's your live tune. All these are key components to becoming fast. There's 7 components of being fast. Number 1 is going to be your live tune. Number 2 is going to be your engine build and suspension setup. Number 3 is going to be your race lines. You got to run good race lines. Number 4, you got to be consistent in those race lines. Number 5 are your nitrous points. Number 6 is consistency in those NOS points. And number 7 is going to be track knowledge, albeit shortcuts or how you're going to approach your turns. All these play a serious factor into you getting faster and improving. Alright, that's it for now on my F40 build video. Feel free to watch it as many times as you need to get everything down. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me a question within the comments, and I will reply to them as soon as I can. Thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, please drop me a like and drop me a subscribe. I am MeZMerEyeeZ, Eastern United States. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.